sort the guys out. Pete, do you want to kick us off, Scott?
Good afternoon, Scott. Are you well?
I'm good, thanks.
Have you had a good international break?
Had a good break, yeah. We had some time, a few days, and then back working, mate. So yeah, it's been a good few weeks.
I imagine, like most managers, you've watched a lot of the action, thinking, "I hope none of my players gets injured," and then you see the end of the England-Albania game, and you worry.
Yeah. Exactly.
How is he?
Well, firstly, he's okay. It's not as bad as certainly how it looked, or it was when I was watching it, and it looks it's fine really. So I'm hoping that Armando will be available for the weekend really. So everything that's come back seems really positive. He was on the grass yesterday, he's on the grass today. We'll see how he reacts tomorrow. But at this present moment in time, it's looking good.
He's had some lousy luck with injuries over the years. How do you keep his spirits up? Because he must get down when he gets injury after injury after injury.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think Amando's obviously, he's had a couple of loans and picked up probably a couple of injuries in them loans. Some of them contact injuries, which are obviously part and parcel. But yeah, look, I'm pleased with at this moment in time. This is not an injury that is one that brings back a scar for him, or he's on that same road. So he's all right. We'll keep working there.
I don't think he started in the Premier League for you this season. So has he still got time this season to make impact as far as you're concerned?
Yeah, of course he has. We brought Armando in here to be part of this. This isn't a loan. We've signed him, and the reality of where Armando was coming in the summer, I had an understanding of it. He's had a pre-season with probably 6 or 7 players at Chelsea, not had a full pre-season. So it's probably been a bit stop-start for him in that sense. A psychological element as well, which I've experienced as a player. Where am I going to be? Where am I not going to be? So he's come in a little bit short, understandably, and he just needs some work. And we've seen a massive improvement in that with him. So yeah, we're heading in the right direction. We need to stay calm, focused. He's a top player who we've signed, like I said, to come here and play for us for a long time. So he's working well. I
guess he'd be desperate to play on Saturday against the old club, as will Leslie. Do you take that into consideration at all, or is that just something you can't even contemplate?
No, I don't know. I wouldn't even contemplate that really. I'll decide and I'll pick the best team on how I see it really, and there's no sentiment there from my side. So yeah, not really.
How do you assess Chelsea at the moment? I mean, a lot of debate about them, the squad size, and there's talk of a little injury crisis at the moment. They've got a big game coming up in Europe. I mean, how do you assess them at the moment?
Top team. I see them as a top team that have got world-class football players and an outstanding coach. And yeah, it's a tough game for us a weekend, which we understand. But yeah, I see them as being in and around it this year for sure. A very, very good team that control structured team in the way they play with huge quality. What can make difference really? So yeah, it'd be a tough game for us. We understand that.
You've scored goals. I think you scored 14. You've conceded 22. What do you now have to do better in this next phase of the season? I mean, I guess if I'd have offered you 10 points from 11, you'd have been reasonably happy with that. But what have you got to do now? What have you got to improve?
Well, I think there's certainly the little fine details in our game in certain moments. And I think that was probably pivotal from our last game, where I thought we was, for large parts, we looked a very, very good team, and we've developed definitely, and I've seen a massive improvement on us. There's just little tiny bits at this present moment in time. The goals we conceded at the last game were poor from us, and that was down to a couple of things, and that's probably reoccurred a little bit. But in saying that, like you said, we sit here on 10 points, 3 wins and a draw. We're in an absolute unbelievable place, and a team that are developing. And of course, we've got our issues, like every team in this division will at some point have issues, what you need to work on, and we'll continue to work on that and keep nudging away.
Being in that unbelievable place now at the end of November, if you're going to benefit from that towards the end of the season. What have you got to do in January? How many difficult decisions do you have to make at the start of the window in January as regards whether you stick with what you've got or you spend in an effort to stay up?
Well, I think that's, for me at this present moment in time, that's down the road a little bit. And I know for a lot it seems like it's around the corner.
Soon be here.
It definitely will soon be here. But, this world works at 400 mile an hour, what we're in. And every game at this present moment in time is at the forefront and is the most important. So I have real I'm not looking towards that. I have a group here at this present moment in time that are fully committed, and that's the main focus really. We'll get to January and the madness, what that brings in that 4 or 5 weeks when that window opens, and like always, like every club, you reassess and see where you are. Some players may have to leave, some players may want to leave, but at this present moment in time, we'll wait for the moment.
But you'll have a think about it soon.
Soon.
Thanks for your time.
Hello, Scott. Speaking to the players in recent weeks, there's a genuine togetherness in this group. There's something special that you've been able to harness between them. They all talk about the level in training being as high as they've experienced in their career even. I mean, how important is that for what you're trying to build here at Burnley, and how deliberate has that been on your side to make the group so together and to have training the way that it is as well?
It's definitely deliberate, because it's going to be vital for us, and I can't sit here and say it any other way. This year, at times, there's going to be some bumps, and fundamentally, what I'll always fall back on is a group that are together, a group that can take a blow, sticking together. So it's going to be vital for us, and certainly it's a driver for us in terms of what we do. We do need to work at our optimum, and we're going to need to overperform beyond overperform this year to be successful. And to be able to overperform, you need to overperform every day in training. They're the limits, and that's where we need to get to. So them demands are put on this group, one psychologically and one physically in training, really. So for us to be successful this year, there's 2 key things, and that's what I've just expressed to you there. A togetherness, a team spirit that is beyond anything that can go through some adversity, because we're going to face adversity for sure. And that ain't me being negative or pessimistic in any way. It's just the cold hard facts of what we're going to be. And us as a group, us as a fan base, us as a football club, we need to understand that. And by sticking together and having an incredible unity about us, we could get through that. On the flip side of that is, like I said, we're going to have to be one of the physically best teams. And to do that, we're going to have to drive a standard here and a work ethic in training every day that gets us to that position to be able to physically do that on a Saturday. So they're the main factors, really.
Yeah, I guess in some ways, there are obvious things to say. You want the level of training to be high. You want the togetherness of the group to be very strong. But it does take work. It takes specific knowledge to be able to do that. I wonder, from your playing career, have you got specific examples of being part of those sorts of groups and the levels that it got you to as a team that maybe it wouldn't have done if you weren't together?
100%. That's everything that I see in a position now. Fundamentally, delivering things, or my philosophy on how I see things, comes from my experience, like we all do. The way you bring up my first child to the way I bring up my fourth is different. Why is that? Because the experiences and the mistakes, or the things I see went well with my first, you change. My experiences come from
You're busy as well, right?
Yeah.
Then you were with the first.
Yeah, exactly. My experiences come from a team at Chelsea which won the league, and the demands that were put on that team, the team spirit, what that was, have given me vast experience. On the flip side, I've seen some negatives. I've had some real adversity. I've been relegated out of the Premier League a few times. So them demands have come from my experiences, and that's every bit of what I believe in, because I've seen it. I've seen what that can bring. And it's them experiences what makes me the coach I am today, and the way how I try and manage this team, really.
Managing that stuff around the football, is that almost more demanding than putting the team together for the matches at the weekend?
I think in this modern day it is. Yeah, I think in this modern day, look, well, as us as coaches, a large emphasis is our day-to-day on the training field, trying to set up the team, trying to put tactical elements, trying to create a team you want us to be. There's no denying that the world's changed in terms of that other side of it, and narratives can get sold, or the psychological element of a player in this modern day is beyond the extreme, and what they see and what they're exposed to is something as a coach that I'm constantly aware of. Well, I don't agree with it. I don't look into it. I try and educate myself enough around it to have an understanding of what these boys what their lives are like now. It was very different for me when I was a player. I didn't have them platforms. I didn't know, and I still don't today because I choose not to. But as a coach, you need to have some sort of understanding to try and manage them through that to get what ultimately I want to get.
Just going back to the Chelsea game, if I can, I mean, you've had some brilliant results so far. You've had some great performances that have nearly got you over the line against some of the best in the league. What would a win against Chelsea do for the spirit of the group, the confidence, the belief of the place, and underlining the work that you're doing?
That'd be massive for us. And look, we, as always, like we have done throughout this season, for at times all our mistakes, or at times a poor result here and there's one thing about this team, and this team are absolutely 100% committed, have got real quality, and we've shown that. And whether it was Chelsea or wherever it would be this week, we're going into this game trying to get a result out of it, and it will be a massive lift. Of course it will, and that's the aim this weekend as well.
Good luck, thank you.
Cheers, mate.
Hi, Scott. I know you just touched on West Ham there a few moments ago, but you seem so disappointed after that game. How do you reflect back on it now?
I was disappointed, and I think that's died away now. Of course, it has. There's still an element that we was all disappointed. It wasn't just me. And the raw emotion of after a game of football, of course, your emotions at its highest. I was disappointed because I felt we played so well. We played really, really well. We took the game, everything we wanted us. What I wanted us to be, and everything that we was excellent. Really, going away from Mo and West Ham, coming out of a brilliant performance against Newcastle, and we was right in that game, got our nose in front, and we just let ourselves down just in tiny little moments. So there was a real frustration there and a disappointment, and I wasn't the only one. Obviously, I was a man what comes out after, and I'm the one what fronts up. But you to come in that change rooms, I think we all felt the same, and we all felt the same with an understanding is we've just probably let ourselves down a little bit there. We should have done better, really. So looking forward now to this moment, I take the positives, which there were many, many positives. Of course, ultimately we didn't get a result, and that's the main weight at this present moment in time. But we move on, Scott. It is what it is, mate, and we move on now to another big game, and that's done and dusted. There's disappointment there, of course there was, and for 3 days after the game there's huge disappointment, but we move now and we go again.
Is set pieces something that you've focused on a little bit more this week or not?
Yeah, set plays are always something, and certainly in the way the game's moving at this present moment in time, the evolution of the Premier League, we're seeing this become even more so. So there's always two elements. You know, the goal we conceded against Arsenal, I think you can accept. Yes, the ball is on the money. The timing of the runs are on the money. So you can accept the weekend at times structurally was a little bit short. And at that moment, that's a little bit disappointing. So we have gone over that along with other bits as well. And I'm sure it'll be a constant for us like throughout this year to keep improving.
Zian Fleming's your main man at the minute up front, like he was last season. He's in good form for you again, isn't he?
Brilliant form he's done. He's done fantastically well. He's obviously his season started, and he didn't have a pre-season because he picked up an injury really early on in the season. He's come back in, 2 brilliant finishes against Wolves, again an incredible finish against West Ham. So really pleased for Z, pleased for him that obviously it's his first time in the league, and gives him that real confidence and that real belief that he can go and score goals in the Premier League. So long may that continue, and I'm sure it will with Z, a brilliant professional. So in a good place with him.
I know we touched on this a little bit last season, but I know it's not his natural position. But having played a lot there for you last year to great success into double figures for goals, how much will that help him this season, you think?
I think it'll help him massively. I think last year, playing in that position, and I see him as that. So I know he's not played in that position before, but I see him as a 9 really. And I think last year's experiences and last year playing in that position for practically every game will put him in good stead and only improve.
He's got a terrific away record too, hasn't he?
Yeah, we need one at home now.
Yeah, it'd be nice, mate. Yeah. Cheers, Scott. Thank you.
Cheers, mate.
Okay, we'll turn the cameras off then, please, guys. And we'll move on to written match.